When starting a unit on rhetorical analysis, it's really easy to shut down because it sounds overwhelming. However, this is an easy thing to do. Now, it's easy to assume that teenagers would love debate because of the nature of teenagers. However, creating a formal argumentation and analyzing one can be very difficult. So you want to go back to the basics. Let's discuss what rhetoric means. Rhetoric is the art and effective use of persuasive language. Clearly, rhetorical analysis is analyzing that. So I'm going to zoom you out for a minute and take you to a biology classroom where you would be dissecting a specimen. You have the specimen as a whole. This is very much like the piece that you will be analyzing. So you have your whole specimen, your whole persuasive piece. Now in biology, you cut that piece open, and you take it organ by organ, piece by piece. You look at each individual item to understand how it functions. And then you put it back together to examine how it functions as a whole with all of these working pieces. It's the same thing with a rhetorical analysis. So I'm about to go over the acronym SPACECAT and explain what each section means. Additionally, you will be provided with a graphic organizer to help guide you as you are developing the skill. Eventually, automaticity will kick in, and you'll be able to do this on your own. And it is a fantastic skill to have. It will help you in every facet of your life, especially as we continue to grow with the use of social media. The first part you analyze is who is the speaker. And in previous grades, that was pretty simple. You just answered with a name. Now you go deeper. Who's the speaker? What's their authority to speak on the subject? What's their background? Why is this important to them? This all goes into digging into motive, and that's very important when you're doing a rhetorical analysis. Next, we move on to purpose. What's the occasion or the cause? What was the speaker's intention or goal? How well did their medium or method for delivery facilitate their purpose? Because again, persuasive anything can be presented in multiple ways now. It goes beyond writing an editorial piece. It goes beyond speaking at a presentation or convention. Now we can do the same thing through social media, be it TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, or even creating memes. So did their medium or method truly facilitate their purpose? Audience. Again, previously this is one that was pretty simple to answer. Now we're digging deeper. What are the beliefs of the audience? Who is it meant for? What are the assumptions that the creator has made about the audience? And what impact did the audience culture, background, or experience, or mood have on receiving this message? Previously, we read a written piece about Newsies. It seemed like an informational piece. However, it was actually argumentation because the author was calling for young people to use their own voices like the Newsies did to bring about change. In the beginning of that piece, the author refers to the Star-Spangled Banner and keeps referring to it as ours, as we have ownership. The assumption that the creator made about the audience is that they're American. Next, we look at context. When and where was this piece written? Society changes, and while some elements always remain the same, things about society evolve. You need to look at what was happening in the community, the country, the culture, or the world to cause its creation. There's a lot of things that can impact the context of a speech. Something may be well received 200 years ago that will not be well received today. Would this message be interpreted differently if given another time and space? Additionally, considering culture, when we read Malala's speech to the United Nations, she is speaking about her fight for education based on being female. As we are reading that, we have to consider it because that is not a fight that we have had to take on in our country. Exigence. Exigence is a new term for many of you, but essentially you're looking at what was the cause, what was the spark, the catalyst to inspire this creator to make this piece to share with the world or whomever their audience is. Why does this message matter, especially given the time and place? Again, what inspired the creator to develop it? And did this message have a lasting effect? Some speeches fall to the wayside, while others become timeless. Choices. This relates specifically to how the author uses language. What specific communication choices does the author make? What is the impact of those choices? Now, this may require some referencing on your part. However, this is stuff you have been exposed to before in your education. How does the syntax, the sentence structure, organization, figurative language, rhetorical devices, and other elements impact the overall meaning of the message? Some speeches are very concise, straight to the point, while others use a lot of figurative language and imagery and beautiful feel-good things. You have to look at how it was designed to understand how effective it was. I'll give you an example of a rhetorical device. In Martin Luther King's speech, I Have a Dream, people reference it all the time, and they will say, I have a dream. That was repeated over and over and over again within the speech. Now, in other forms of writing, repeating yourself like that would be considered redundant and in poor form. But in persuasive writing, it's actually highly effective because it's reinforcing the message, the idea, the tone. One of the most important parts of analyzing any piece of rhetoric is looking at the appeals that are used. And while there's multiple appeals, the main ones you're going to focus on are ethos, pathos, and logos. You want to look at credibility, you want to look at the use of emotional appeals, and you want to look at the use of logic. And let me warn you with emotional appeals, just because an emotional appeal is effective does not mean that it's logical or ethical. You want to look for logical fallacies, and logical fallacies are flaws within the argument. Things like ad hominem, where instead of addressing the topic, the respondent will attack the speaker or the creator. Are the intended appeals effective? Again, they don't have to be ethical to be effective, and we're seeing that a lot in today's society. The very last thing you're going to analyze is tone. Now, naturally, your first thought is tone of voice. However, that's not what you do in rhetorical analysis. And while you can hear tone of voice in speeches and presentations, you can't hear tone of voice by sound when you're reading. So you're going to look at the word choice. You'll look at connotative meaning. You'll look at their attitude and the points that they're making. This will help you understand the tone, their overall attitude towards the piece or the subject that they're presenting. And what does that reveal about the author? Additionally, you're going to want to look at tone shifts. If it's a very long piece, the tone could start off very gently, very slowly, easing people into it before increasing some kind of passion, be it anger or desperation. And that is a tactic to pull in the audience, keep them engaged, and persuade them. That's what you're looking for. All right, so have fun out there, Space Cadets, being led by your Space Cat. Space Cat, Space Cat.